Pokemon Center pre-orders for Phantasmal Flames went live yesterday, but if you missed out, don't worry. You're still going to have plenty of chances, possibly as early as today or throughout the week. Not only from Pokemon Center, you will have more chances from Pokemon Center, but you will also have chances from other retailers. I'm going to break down all of that, your best chances and everything, all the product that you can kind of expect in this video. And let's just jump straight into it. So just as a little bit of a recap, these were the products that went live yesterday on the Pokemon Center. We are expecting these products and more to go live on the other retailers throughout the week, possibly. We don't know exact release times at this moment, so you guys are really going to want to stay tuned for when you get those notifications so you can be quick to get in line. But this is what dropped. They sold out fairly quick. The drop was, I would say, fairly successful. I was recording my video, so I missed the notification immediately because I had my notifications off on my phone while I was recording yesterday. And then I got in late and my queue position was around 500,000. Which I thought, oh, maybe there's a chance I don't go. But I made it through the queue. It took me about 40 minutes. I made it through the queue, was able to get 2 Pokemon Center ETBs and a booster box. I know that we were seeing a pretty high number of Error 17s and other things that were happening. Pokemon Center really tightening up the security after that bot attack breach a few weeks ago. So I think that was definitely playing a factor. Booster bundles stayed in stock for a long time. Booster boxes were the first ones to sell out, then ETBs, and then bundles. So we can expect these products and others from other retailers. Also from the Pokemon Center, we should be looking at the Ultra Premium Collection. This could be going live, even as I'm recording this video or as this video is being uploaded. I don't know the actual release time. Could be today, could be later this week, could be next week, but we would expect it somewhat soon. This is releasing on the same release date as Phantasmal Flames, so you can expect that. It's going to release with all the other products. So other retailers, like I said, your Walmart, Target, Best Buy, other stuff will have all of their normal pre-orders going up probably soon since the Pokemon Center finally just did their drop. So you can expect all of that to be going live. I don't know if Walmart's going to be going live on Wednesday. They usually do their big Walmart Wednesdays and stuff like that. So you're going to want to, like I said, make sure you stay tuned. There will be more chances. The UPC is going to be a big one. You're going to want to secure this UPC if you can. The pack selection looks really good. So that's something that you're going to want to really, really try and focus on if possible. So Pokemon Center, Best Buy, wherever you can try and get your hands on this UPC, you're probably going to want to. And real quickly, if you're not familiar, here is the promo from the UPC. Looks like this is going to be the promo if you missed out. We also don't have confirmation on that other leaked special illustration rare, if that is real or not. It's lining up like it looks like it's going to be real, but we don't have 100% confirmation as of yet. So this and regardless of how you feel about this promo, I think worst case scenario, this is a pretty decent promo. I actually like this promo. Different art style, obviously. So good promo from the UPC right there. And then real quickly, if you missed, I had a lot of people asking yesterday what the promo was for the ETBs. This is what you can expect. This is the Charcadet. It looked like he's watching an MMA fight or something. So kind of a fun little promo there. Not what I was wanting from the box, if I'm being completely honest. But hey, I'll take it. It's not a bad promo. I do like it. I wanted something Charizard, Charmander-y, something along those lines. But, we got the Charmander from Obsidian Flames not that long ago, really. So I understand why they kind of switched directions there. And then real quick, a little bit piece of news just as an update. We are seeing people already start to resell their pre-orders on the secondary market on eBay. Traditionally, don't FOMO into these prices. Traditionally, these come down at release, usually pretty drastically. So just keep that in mind. But we have seen the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes selling for in the $300 range on eBay, and the booster boxes selling upper 200s to lower 300s for the last solds as of this morning. And these usually come down at release as well. I'm going to show you guys some historical data of when these drop, like at release, and show what sets, some recent sets, some popular sets, showing that these drop at and then a little bit after release. So hopefully you guys aren't worried, you're not FOMOing into these prices on the secondary market. And like I mentioned earlier, we are going to be getting more drops for all the big retailers, including the Pokemon Center. Pokemon Center most likely will only be the UPC, but the other retailers should have all the other product available. So there should be more chances for you guys to, if you missed, to get some Phantasmal Flames. And speaking of getting some Phantasmal Flames, we do need to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is PokeNotify. And if you're not familiar, PokeNotify is a notification service. You can get it on a Discord server on your phone, so you can get it set up wherever you live, whatever region you're in, US, UK, wherever, and whatever retailers you want to use. So Pokemon Center, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, GameStop, anywhere that sells Pokemon cards online, you can get notifications sent directly to your phone as soon as the products go live. This is what I used yesterday. This is where I got the notification that the Pokemon Center queue was up. And obviously I was able to get in and get through and get some products. So huge thank you to PokeNotify for that. Also, I did score recently on the Costco prismatic tins. That was through PokeNotify as well. So if you want to check them out, there is a free 3-day trial. I'll have a link in the description, and I'll try and put it in the pinned comment as well. But you can check it out, try it completely for free. If you don't like it, you can always cancel. But make sure you check out PokeNotify. It is, like I said, the notification service that I use, and it's going to be a good week for notifications, hopefully, as we get all of these Phantasmal Flames drops happening. So make sure you check that out, and let's get to the historical data real quick. So this is what I was talking about. So Prismatic Evolutions, these Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes were very expensive before release. Look at these prices. We're seeing in the $300 and $400 range, and then upon release, they dropped to around $250, $260. So on TCG Player 2, when you start to see some of these, not everyone is allowed to list during the pre-release windows. Only brick and mortars are. And then once release date, then everyone's allowed to list. So that affects the price. That's why some of these prices are really high, and then release date comes and they drop significantly. Now, we did see these rise pretty quickly after release, but at release, these dropped. So a little bit of historical data. We also saw the same thing happen for Destined Rivals, another very popular set. Pre-release prices for Pokemon Center ETBs were insane. You can see a $580 sale, $490, and then upon release, they dropped into the $180s. So I don't know how much of a drop or of a fall off there's going to be per se, because things are, there's a lot of real big hype happening around Phantasmal, just around the mega block in general. There's a lot of hype happening. So maybe the fall off won't be quite as substantial from like 400 down to 180. So just keep that in mind. But historically, we do see that, as well as booster boxes. Now, booster boxes for Destined, this is where we were seeing the pre-order prices on TCG Player, $350. They dropped all the way down to $270. This was actually before release, but then some cards got revealed. I think the Mewtwo got revealed, and the boxes shut up to $318. And then into release right here, you can see they did hit a low of $244. And then after that, they shot up, but there was a brief window at release where these were more affordable. So I just wanted to kind of show a little bit of historical data from two big sets. It pretty much happens with like all of the sets, but two bigger sets recently between your Prismatic and your Destined Rivals. So if you miss out even on the drops that are supposed to be happening this week, just keep in mind that if you have to go to the secondary market, the prices should come down at least going into release. And for release, just as a reminder as well, the release date for Inferno X, which is the Japanese set, is September 26th. And the reason I bring that up is because we could see, possibly by the end of this week or by the beginning of next week, we could start seeing the leaks coming out from people opening the Japanese boxes early. So we could get full confirmation of everything that's in that set, including that Charizard SIR that we are hoping is real. So we could have some big reveals coming up soon. And then also, in case you missed it, the English release for Phantasmal Flames is November 14th. So we have a big week for this September 26th, because this is also our English Mega Evolution release date is September 26th as well. So a big September, and then obviously November is going to be big for Phantasmal Flames. So that's currently what we're seeing as far as the pre-orders go, and everything. It's kind of what you guys can expect. We have seen it bring some hype to, we've seen Charizard cards been going big across the board. We're going to look at some modern cards here that have been seeing some pretty substantial gains. This is the Celebrations stamped Charizard. Obviously great artwork. Love this card, but this one's up pretty big. 46% just in the past 3 months. And if you zoom out right here, we can see, obviously we're at a 1-year high, $136, most recent sale, $143. A year ago, you could have picked this up for around $70. So it looks like it's about doubled in price. Lowest listeds are pretty much right in that 140 range. So we'll see how high this can go up, and we'll see how high, we're already seeing chase cards, big cards moving up already in value, but now we're getting more of that, like a little bit of that Charizard hype, I think. So I think that's definitely playing at least a little bit of a factor. So Celebrations Charizard looking really good, seeing big gains there. Also, this is the metal. This is like I feel like people forget about this card, but this is the metal one from Celebrations, which PSA was grading, and then they're not, and they stopped grading, and now they are grading again, just for reference too. But this card's up big as well. It's up 136% on the year. It was 70 or $80 a year ago, and now it's just continued to climb and climb and climb, closing in on $200. And also keep in mind, this is a low supply card. There's only 16 copies currently listed on TCG Player. They're at right below 200 and up, and we'll see if these continue to rise. If we get a few more sales, we'd be in the 200, 250, possibly even the $300 range for the Celebrations Metal Charizard. So that would be very interesting to see if things continue to move in that direction. Let's see, what else do we have next? The 151 Charizard, the Sunzard, is continuing to move up. A year ago, 127, we saw a massive gain on this card earlier in the year. In late February, early March, ran up to almost $290. Then it's fallen off. It fell off all the way to like June and July to what looks like in the 180s is the low, and now we're seeing break over 300, all-time high for the 151 Zard, 308, most recent sale at 330. Lowest listeds, we do have quite a few lowest listeds actually below those most recent sales in the upper 280s. So we'll have to see if it can continue to hold over that $300 mark or if it breaks back down. So something else to keep an eye on. Also, the supply, still a decent amount of cards available, 54. It's really not that many. But look how many have sold in the past month, 267. So if this supply starts to get real low, we could see this card continue to run up even bigger. So definitely some more potential. It's kind of just something we've seen across the board recently with a lot of these chase cards. We start to, once they get into like the 30s and the 20s supply, on TCG, they can take big jumps very quickly. So another Charizard card that's been moving up big. And then the Brilliant Stars Charizard. This one's finally getting some big movement, and it's kind of coming off the back of what I was just saying. Only 14 copies currently listed. There's just not that many out there. People are snatching these up. But $350 current market price. This card's up 169% on the year. 130 a year ago. This was a card that I was saying was way too cheap for way too long. The artwork is just too good. And we're finally starting to see that. So $350. Let's see what the lowest listed is right now. Looks like it might be getting ready to take another big leg up. Lowest listed is $400. So that would go from $350 to $400. Like I said, there's only 14 copies available. When the supply starts to get low, the prices move a lot quicker. So this could take a pretty big jump into the four. I mean, man, it's something wild too is I remember this was like well over a year ago, but I was talking about this card. I was kind of championing this card. And you could have picked this up in a PSA 10 for under this price, like 250, 275, like 300 range for PSA 10s of this card, if you can believe that or not. And now we're seeing 350, possibly 400 raw. So Charizard V number 154, great alt art. Absolutely love this card. Stunning. It's my favorite Charizard artwork. Then we have the Paldean Fates Charizard, obviously off the back of the Bubble Mew seeing massive gains. A year ago, this card was barely over 100, 102. It did have a previous run up in late January, early February to 217, fell all the way back down to around 160. And now we're seeing it at right at the cusp of that $300 mark. We'll see if it can break through. Obviously all-time high for this card. So more all-time highs for Charizards, and lowest listeds in the 293, getting close to that $300 range. But Paldean Fates, the set that this is from, obviously that set's doing insanely well. We're seeing Pokémon Center ETBs taking off. The Bubble Mew's just insane. So it makes sense that this card would start to finally see some gains. And it is nice to see. We'll have to see if the supply can dwindle a little bit more. If it gets down lower, then you can expect some increased gains as well. But definitely need to sell through a few more copies. And let's just take a look. Just for reference, 126 copies have sold in the past month. Only 60 currently available. However, you will notice as the price increases, the sales do slow down. So a lot of these sales happening back here at around $190 and around $200. So the more expensive it gets, the more the sales slow down. So it might take a little bit for that to slow down. And 63% gain just in the past month. That's crazy. Those are crazy numbers. Yeah, that's what you can expect from that. And then lastly, I just want to talk about a little bit of a vintage card. We don't talk about vintage as much on the channel as I would like. So I got to talk about this Ken Sugimori illustrated Dark Charizard. This is the unlimited holo foil, not the first edition. It's up 86% in the past year. $150 a year ago. Now we're seeing it close up in around $285 currently for a near mint copy. So that's not that many sales of this card really happen. 37 in the past year on TCG Player. So anyways, just thought it was worth mentioning. I do love this card. One of the great Charizard artworks. So much nostalgia for me. So yeah, I just had to mention that real quick. It's not up as crazy as the other ones, as the new ones, but it's a top tier card in my opinion. So that's what we have. Hopefully that was helpful. Like I said, I did a live for the Pokemon Center drop. If we get another one for the UPC, I'll try and do another live if I'm available for that. If I'm home and able to go live, I will try to do that. And I will try to keep you guys updated at the best I can for the other drops. But like I said, honestly, Poke Notify is probably going to be your best chance as far as notifications go. They're going to be faster than me. So if you want to have the best chance, that's what I would do. But hopefully this week, we should be seeing some pre-orders coming from the other major retailers, and then hopefully the UPC drops. Now, all of that being said, there is a chance that none of it drops this week. They have been throwing curveballs left and right. Stuff's been delayed. I would be very surprised if at least the other retailers, I feel like that's a given. Like the other retailers kind of have to drop their pre-orders. I feel like that kind of almost has to happen. And if anything will get delayed till next week or later, it could be the UPC on Pokemon Center. That I could definitely see being delayed. I don't know why they would. I feel like, it could happen today. Maybe they'll just wait till Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know. Nobody knows for certain. They used to be more predictable on their drops, and now things have changed. So that's kind of why, sometimes you got to have a good notification service set up so you guys can be up to date on that. So anyways, that's all I have for you guys in this one. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications on, because I do post every single day. You guys can stay up to date on the market without having to do any of the research. I'll do all the research. I'll talk about it. You can just watch and or listen. So that's all I have for you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.